Hello, and welcome back to another video. It is Tron's Revenge here. First off, sorry I'm late. This video I really want to get out first instead of the other video, which is why this is later than it should be. But we're just gonna jump right into it. The TIE Bomber. I had an eye-opening experience with this, honestly, because the main video that I wanted to make here was me criticizing the bomber. And instead, I'm honestly going to give it some praise, which is shocking, because I still kind of hate it, in all honesty. But we'll get into the set proper first, and then I'll discuss about what the main topic is for the video. To get into it first, right, it's a $65 set. It's like, how many pieces is it? I threw the box away. 625 pieces. So it's in the right, piece count. But why do I feel that I don't like this, right? So, main reason I got it is A, it has parts in it that I need, and B, the minifig of Sloane. Let me grab her real quick. That's the main reason I bought this, is because I needed some parts, and... oh, she fell over, whatever. I needed the parts from the bomber, and then the minifig as well. Plus, I wanted to make this video thinking that I was like, I had a gotcha, I had a gotcha for this set, which ended up turning to be not true. Parts in it, there's some good parts in it that I really like. The new introduction of the half rounds with the jumper in the center, really great piece. I can't wait for LEGO to make more of those. I plan to use them often. I plan to probably try to get some if I can, because those are, God, it's such a cool piece. And then there's these quarter dome pieces right here. I need those for my S1 Firehawk. My Firehawk uses 4 of them, as well as some other pieces in the set that I think would be really helpful. The play features for the set are pretty meh. The front of the cockpit's able to open. Here, let me stop the rotation for you. So, the front of the cockpit's able to open like so. Very tight in there. I used a different TIE Fighter pilot because I have a bunch of TIE Fighter pilots, so I'm trying to kind of even them out based off of their qualifications. So, very cramped in here. That closes. There's the little shooters up here, and there's the bomb system, which there's flick fire missiles on the top. You push down, it launches. So the first issue, right, my first issue with it is the play feature, the bomb system here. I don't like it. I actually hate it. There have been sets in an equal price point before that LEGO has made, like the Y-Wings and stuff, where they had bomb launchers that worked properly. I don't like pushing my thumb in here and getting flick fire missiles to pop out, right? Like, that makes a very obvious hole in the top of the model. I don't like it. My thumb is too big. It looks a little stupid. I think there are modders who made much better options. Yoda Skate did a fantastic version, and many others have as well, where you just rotate the back and the bombs drop by, some sort of rotation mechanism. LEGO has done that before. The old Y-Wings used to have that same system of using those weird, balled gears. They had the 4 balls on the top, and you would rotate it, and little bombs would drop off from the bottom. That makes more sense to me than this. I hate this. I think another thing that makes me not like this is the fact that for $65, I don't... hold on. Grab all this. For $65, I don't feel like I'm getting $65 worth of stuff. On the box, it says I am, but I feel like so much weight was put into this for no reason. Take this away, take Darth Vader away, remove some of the parts in here, and I think it would be a very worth it $50 set. But at $65, compared to the Chibi Starfighter we got, the Chibi TIE Fighter, at $40, I don't feel like I'm getting much more bomber for the price point. That I think is a big issue for me. Now, let's get into the main reason I'm making this video, and that's why this video took a little bit longer than I would have liked it to, because I had to do some math. So, for those that don't know, scale. I find scale very important. Discussing scale, trying to figure out scale, making things scale accurate is very, very important to me. So, I did some math for you. So let's raise this guy up a little bit, move the bomber forward a little bit, and we'll put in the 2 things that we're trying to compare. So we got the Chibi TIE Fighter right there, and we got the Han Solo TIE Fighter right here. So, what I thought would be the case... let me zoom this out. What I thought would be the case is that this would be the most accurate TIE Fighter in terms of size. And technically it is, depending on your scale, right? As you know, I prefer a 1:43 scale. That is the base of a height of a minifig. If a minifig is the standard human height, then the scale I would be in was between 1:42 to 1:43 scale, right? I thought that this was in 1 to 42, 1 to 43 scale. Apparently, that's just not true. So I basically checked the height of the wings of both of the models, because I feel that the wings are the most prominent elements of the TIE Fighter. It's a big hexagon, it is the most important feature, and I feel it'd give me the most accurate size to base it off of the original vehicle, right? So I did some math, right? I checked the Legends numbers, because I'm always going to base it off the Legends, not the canon numbers. The Legends numbers for a TIE Fighter, in length it is 7.2 meters long, in height it is 8.8 meters high. So in terms of this length, it's 8.8, this length, it's 7.2. Which makes sense because the hexagon is a little bit, it's a little squished in. It's not a perfect hexagon all the way around, so those numbers make sense. So then I checked, what are this guy's lengths and heights, right? Using a handy-dandy measuring tape, I found the numbers for all the vehicles, right? So this guy, in Lego form, it is roughly 8 inches in length and 9.1 inches in height. So when I do the ratio calculation, I didn't make an exact ratio calculation. Instead, I used the stud counter by Serral, and just incremented the ratio to get a rough estimate of where we're at in terms of inches to meters. The length calculation is 1 to 35.4 scale. The height is 1 to 38 scale, with an average of a 36.7. So it's 1 to 36.7 for this. We'll round up to say 1 to 37th scale. That's pretty good. That's in the realm of acceptance. It is between Lego scale that is considered acceptable is 1 to 35 to 1 to 45. 35 being on the big end, 45 being on the small end. 35 is the width of a minifig, and 45 is the height of a minifig, rounded off a couple. So it's good. It's in an acceptable ballpark, right? I would say it's in an acceptable ballpark. So the Chibi Fighter, which a lot of people have said is in a more accurate scale, and on the numbers, it's true. It is actually more accurate. The Legends numbers, of course, again, 7.2 meters long, 8.8 meters high. The Lego one is 8 inches in length and height of 9.1 inches. So that ratio gives us a ratio of length of 1 to 42 scale, height is 1 to 49.5 scale. So the discrepancy between the length and height for the Chibi one is much bigger than the discrepancy for the ratio of the length and height to the Solo TIE Fighter. But when you average it out, it's 45.75. It is on the very small scale. It's so close to base, it's almost out of bounds. I mean, it is out of bounds, it's 45.75, round up 46 roughly, but I'd say it's still acceptable. And again, the reason Lego made this is because this was $80, this was $40. It's literally half the price. It makes it easier for kids to be able to purchase it. I understand why they did it. The TIE Bomber, right? Legends, 7.8 meters in length, 5 meters in height. The Lego stats are 6.25 inches and 4.5 inches in height. So length, 6.25, height, 4.5 inches. I was thinking this was going to be closer to a 50, a 1 to 50 scale. I was wrong. Its length is 1 to 49.1, similar to the Chibi TIE Fighter, but instead of the length, it was the height. It was flipped around. And then the height is 1 to 43.7, averaging to about a 46.4 scale, so 1 to 46.4. They're off by, like, 1. They're really close to each other, which I didn't expect. I will accept that I was wrong. I thought that this was going to be super off scale. No, it's fairly close. It is a little bit more off the traditional 1 to 45, which is the very end of the spectrum, but it's still much closer to these two than it is to this. This is technically oversized. These are a little bit undersized, this one more undersized than the other. So what was the point of all this, right? I thought that this would show me why I didn't like the Bomber, and it didn't. It proved that they actually did a good job in scaling it to the Chibi TIE Fighter. So why do I still not like it? So let's take away the Solo TIE Fighter and maybe look at it a little closer, and I think I found out why I don't like this. So, looking at these two and looking at their cockpits, the main thing that I noticed while doing this was that the cockpit here versus the cockpit here are the thing that's wrong. These are not scaled right. The wings are scaled right, the cockpit is not. So to the people who are actually doing modifications where you take this cockpit and put it here, I think that's actually right. That makes this more to scale. So if this is the correct scale, and I feel like this feels right, the only thing that I think bugs me the most is that this section right here, I feel this should be bigger. If there was a 5x5 version of this dish printed, put here, I think that'd fix my whole issue. There's too much light bluish gray here. It should be way bigger on this. Where this, I think, is actually too big. I think this cockpit is not correctly proportioned, which is what's making me a bit confused when looking at these two. Because if you look at the Solo TIE Fighter, right, that cockpit, this is almost the same size as that cockpit. But its wings are smaller. They're like, a third less, or like, 33%, 25% roughly less, right? And so I think the cockpit issue is what's tripping me up on thinking, oh, this is a bad set compared to this. No, it's that this is the bad set. This is the one that's wrong. This is correct. It should be like this. This should be here. So to the people who are doing that, kudos. I think you've found how to make this TIE Fighter more in scale to this. Even when the sizes are correct, in terms of looks, it feels not correct. Now, the only way I'd be able to actually check this is to check, the thickness of this and the thickness of this and compare the two, get an overlap, making sure they're on the right scale, and probably some sort of, software for image stuff like Photoshop or GIMP or something. And I don't want to go through the hassle of trying to find accurate sizes of this, accurate sizes of the original TIE Fighter, in Legends form, and then overlapping them and making sure that the images are scaled properly. That's a lot more work than I would like to do. I feel like my gut feeling, it feels right. I think that feels accurate, is that just the ball for the Chibi TIE Fighter is too big. Other than that, I still feel, scale aside, I still don't like the set much. I feel they could easily have, put less parts into this, taken some stuff out from the set, made it cheaper. Or I would have loved to pay more to have this feel bigger. I want this to be bigger. I feel if this was the 6 wide canopy with the printed canopy that they use for the other TIE Fighters, I would have probably liked this more. It would have been more money, but I would have been willing to pay that money because I would have liked the scaling better. But in terms of scale, it's right. It's accurate. It feels accurate. It's just this cockpit is the thing that's tripping me up. And then the play features, right? I don't like the play features. This is stupid. This is stupid. I wish they didn't do that. Again, if you want to find some rebrickable variants, I will probably link those in the description down below, so you can check out how to modify yours for it to be better. I think Ron McFaddy did one, and Ron McFaddy also did a bunch of variants using this cockpit style for a bunch of TIE Fighters. I'll link that down there as well, because shouts out to him for doing that. Good job on his side. It definitely, I feel, fixes some of my issues of the scaling between this model and the Chibi model. So that's all I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed this in-depth video of me just being weird about scale again. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. The other video I was going to do, the Bionicle video, I'll probably just try to release on Thursday, make it Wednesday, as that video's shorter, and I wanted to give you guys a bit of a longer video on, you had to wait longer than you should have, and that's on me for, midterms and classes and stuff, and I need to get my schedule together. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.